So I have 6 money talks that every couple needs to have. One of those is the story talk. Now, the story talk is all about understanding your spouse and where they've come from. You know, a lot of people say that growing up, your household was your classroom. And for a lot of us, there's lessons we learned in that classroom that we want to take into adulthood and use in our marriage, and it's great. And there's some lessons that we want to unlearn, and I think we all have those, don't we? But understanding where your spouse has come from in regards to money is so key, because then you suddenly understand their heart and why they view money the way they do. So to jumpstart the story talk, there's a statement with a blank that is important for you and your spouse both to fill out and to talk about. So what the statement is in my house growing up, money was blank. And just start that conversation, and you'll be amazed if you haven't had this conversation already where your spouse has come from. Now, another money talk that you need to have is the fear talk. So when it comes to money, there is this sense of fear with a lot of people, and fear makes us do crazy things. This is why some people get a secret checking account or a secret credit card. The fear of their spouse knowing what they're buying, just paralyzes them, and they do all these crazy things. So fear is something that's really important to understand, and to understand what your spouse's greatest fear is. So there's a few fears around money that actually Dr. Les Parrott wrote about, and they're brilliant. And so I took that content and I was like, Les, I've got to teach on this because it is so good. So here are a couple of fears that you might have. Number 1, the fear of just the lack of influence that you have in your money. I find that a lot of women have this feeling of like, okay, he's a banker, he knows what he's doing. I mean, who am I to talk about money? You have this idea that your influence is not important. So that is a fear for a lot of women. There also is a fear of a lack of respect. And I find this with a lot of men. They'll say things like, okay, well, she does the grocery shopping and all the shopping for all of our things we need in our house. And so I don't know how much things cost. Like, she's not gonna listen to me. And so there's just this idea that there's not a ton of respect on your part. And this could go, male or female, but I hear a lot of men talk about this. There's also the fear of the lack of security. And this is the idea that if something were to happen, if there was a medical emergency or someone lost their job, there's not enough money to take care of you and your family. And that's a real fear for a lot of people. And there's also the fear of not realizing your dreams. You think back when you're dating, you're like, oh, one of my dreams in life was to live on at least 6 acres. I just wanted to live on land. And now you're stuck in a neighborhood at 45 years old and you don't see the possibility of that happening. Or maybe it's, you always wanted to race cars and it was a hobby you used to have and you thought, oh, that's all I want to do. I want to enjoy my time and you'll race cars. And now you're not able to do that. And it's just this fear that you have this dream that it's not going to come true. And so these fears, again, dictate many of our money decisions and how we interact with our spouse. So get with your spouse and fill in this statement. My greatest financial fear is blank. And it could be one of the 4 we just talked about or something totally different. But have that conversation. And again, many of you will be very surprised at what your spouse says. Also have the giving talk. Now, giving is a crucial part of what we teach about when it comes to money. And being able to do this together and as a team is very, very crucial. Because when you start giving when it comes to your money and you start living with that open hand, that attitude is so contagious. And suddenly you're giving in other areas of your life. You start serving your spouse more. I mean, there's really this contagious feeling when it comes to giving, and something that everyone needs to experience. So if you haven't already, I would definitely challenge you to that. But when it comes to giving, a lot of spouses have conflict because one of you is probably a more emotionally led giver. That's me. Where you see something, you're moved by something, you're like, okay, I just want to be able to help. Like, we have money, like we can just give some money this way, and you very much are emotionally led. Where others of you, more of Winston, more of a calculated giver. Winston and I, when we started really formalizing our giving a few years ago and taking it really seriously, we had a big conversation because he said that he took such this responsibility, this weight he felt, that we look into where we give so critically and so deeply as much as we do our retirement accounts and our investments. We take as much time there with our giving. So are you more of an emotionally led giver or a calculated giver? So talk to your spouse about that. And there's also the grace talk. So why is grace important? Because we have all made money mistakes. and we will all continue to make mistakes. We're not gonna be perfect. No one is gonna be perfect. Winston and I, we still make money mistakes, okay? So you have to understand that that's going to happen. But there is this fine line between grace when it comes to money specifically with your spouse, because too many rules around everything and everything's just so structured. It gets so legalistic and it's like, oh my gosh, chill out, right? But then other times when you just say, oh, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, and they keep overspending and overspending and overspending, or they have a secret credit card or whatever it is, and you're like, that's okay, that's okay. That starts to be enabling bad behavior, right? So there is this balance when it comes to it where yes, we're gonna make mistakes, but the key is we have to learn from our mistakes. But with your spouse, give them grace. So what you can do is fill in this statement with your spouse. When I make a money mistake, I love it when you blank. So these are just 4 of the money talks you can have. If you want more, click the link in the description below for my conversation starter cheat sheet. Or if you really wanna have a fun date night experience, come see Dr. Les Parrott and myself at our money and marriage events. We are all over the country, so make sure to click the link below and get tickets and come out.